Alright, had to tear off the wick at the bottom. See the spikes there? Well, that should have came right up with the this piece here. Sorry, I don't know the names of these, but yeah, the wick should have came right up with this piece here. Okay, instead it fused itself down here at the bottom. Look at all the rust there. Alright, so here's where the wick rests. There hasn't been any kerosene touching this wick for, I'm sure, many years. So that's why we weren't able to lift it straight out after getting those wing nuts off. So it's a really huge mess. Look at this, we've got rust over here. I don't even know if this is going to be salvageable. So I wanted to get rid of some of the rust in the tank. Now I'm not trying to get rid of all of it, and I'm not going to try to restore this, so to speak. I just want to get it so that it's going to be working again safely. So I'm going to be scrubbing some of the rust off. What I've done already is I did put some kerosene in here and let it sit overnight. Believe it or not, it is a little bit better. Pretty hard to see, I guess. And then just swished it around this morning and, you know, poured it out of the hole there, the fill hole. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go with vinegar. I think this may even be better. And we're just going to put this in the tank. I think it's 5% acidity maybe. Yeah, 5%. And let that soak for a couple of hours. In the meantime, I've got a scrub brush and I'm going to be scrubbing a little bit. Also, this part here, I forget the name. We have our wick, our new wick in place. And I did have it on there, but I decided I'm going to clean this up as well before using the heater. So what I'm going to do is really the same thing. I just got a bucket here. I'm going to go ahead and put some vinegar in there and let that soak. And I will also be scrubbing that as well with the brush. So it's not as coarse as I need, but it is a wire brush. Don't have the best vantage point for this with the brush that I have. I actually bent the handle with a heat gun, but I need something better than this. I will be using a screwdriver blade as well, and really just trying to get a lot of the loose, look at this stuff, a lot of the loose, something floated to the surface, but I couldn't grab it. Yeah, just trying to get a lot of the loose rust off, really. You know, again, not trying to restore this to original condition. There's no way actually to do that. So I'll get back with any progress. Two hours later now, remove the vinegar from the tank. So still a lot of rust, but don't think it's going to be flaking now. I do have a plan I'll tell you about later, but for now I think it's okay. It's not perfect by any means, pretty terrible actually, but we're going to try to use it like it is. This piece right here turned out pretty well. So what we're going to do now, besides this part here, that's pretty embedded there. I mean, I could get that better, but you know, that's as much time as I want to spend on it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some water in a bucket, and we're going to put some water in the tank. We're going to neutralize that vinegar with some baking soda. So I'm going to go ahead and add water to this bucket and to the tank. we had a lot of rust built up around here. You can see where the wick had settled into this metal. Where it was sitting so long, it just rusted into it, where I had to pull it away. But I used sandpaper on this and got it smoothed out somewhat, but there has to be a gap. So this is the bottom. You know, the wick is going to settle in here and go through into the tank. So there needs to be, you know, an adequate enough gap between this piece and this cylinder here. It'll be amazing really if we get this thing to work again. I'm going to go ahead and put this piece, connect this piece, and put my wick through there. Before doing that, I'm going to go ahead and put the rubber, take these thumb screws back off, and put our gasket in. Gasket will go down. The flat part will be up. I'll take this tail piece, put the bottom of the wick in, push this down as far as we can get it. Much better. Need two hands for this. To turn it off, turn this down, or turn this all the way to the left, and then hold it with one hand and then push the shut off. I believe that's how you turn it off. So yeah, turn it all the way, and then okay, so it's looking good here. I think we're going to go ahead and add our kerosene. Now I did try the igniter. I've got a couple of C batteries that I put in there. Don't know if these batteries are good because I'm really not getting a spark. Kind of cleaned up the contacts, but doesn't seem to be working for me. To show you, also had to kind of adjust the igniter here. So yeah, when you push to ignite, that pops up. Now it's wired to the back there to those batteries, and from what I understand, it clean this off as well, but it kind of hits on right there and should light up. I'm getting nothing. And what I meant by adjusting is I pushed it down a little bit so it would contact a little bit better, because it wasn't contacting at all. Maybe I can do it a little more, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to go ahead and just use a lighter or a match. So yeah, we'll add some kerosene, K1 kerosene only, and then I'll get back. Okay, so we'll light it high, and then when we want to turn or extinguish the flame, turn this, hold it here, push the shut off. That should extinguish the flame. Read your manual or instructions if you have one of these. So I think what we'll do is add some kerosene. and we'll try to light it for the first time. I now have the kerosene in the tank, the K1 kerosene that is, and I put about 1/3 of a tank of K1, so I think that'll be enough. This is going to be a first time start for this heater. We're going to let it soak up. We're going to let the wick soak up the kerosene for about an hour before beginning or trying to start it. So I'm going to come back in about an hour or maybe a little longer, and we'll try to light this for the first time. Okay, so it's been right at an hour, and just kind of going over the instructions. First time, I have turned my wick all the way up, the knob here. The door gives you instructions on lighting, so you open the door, and we're not going to be using the igniter here. I'm going to be doing this by hand, manually, with the match. So there's a burner there, burner chamber, and it says as soon as it lights, you move this back and forth to get it to settle in the proper position. And yeah, it says it right here again, move the burner from side to side after lighting. It says it on the door here. Incorrect position will cause smoking. So yeah, we want to get that in the right position after we do light it. Okay, here we go, first time. Just touch the wick. If the wick is, there we go, perfect. Pretty high, it's smoking. Was smoking. Okay, so see how high that is? Let's turn it down. We want about 3/4 of an inch, according to what the instructions on the heater say. About 15 minutes now, we're getting a good level burn. Now the knob here never really gets hot so that you can't touch it. But yeah, we're getting some blue in there. I don't know if you can see the blue. And we can raise it a little bit. I think it's good the way it is. It's got good ventilation. Nice warm heat coming out of the top. Let's raise it a little bit. No smoke. So I'm going to get down, back down to where the blue. Where I'm getting some blue at, right about there. Whole wick is burning. Still got a lot of orange flame there. If we want to bring it down, we can get some blue. Not having any smoking. Really never had, just maybe a second or two of smoking. Of course, we've got this door open here, so it's kind of hard to see any smoke. But I will be using this indoors. I wanted to test it out, you know, here, since we've never used it before and it's such an old heater. So once I extinguish this here, and after it's completely cooled and no more fumes or vapors, I will take this into a room, a den, I think is where I'll put it at, and start using this. I feel comfortable the way it is working, that we shouldn't have any trouble with it. So should be an excellent heater with what we've done to it. Kind of revived it and can start using it again. That's the Dyna-Glo RMC 95C2. Guess that will be it. Thank you for watching video.